Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, a follow-up on that Marx 898. Started out as a wreck. As you can see, I've sprayed it with textured primer, and the holes for the markers are absolutely invisible. So this is technically ready to paint. Now, I'm thinking of hydro dipping this. There are kits on eBay, and I've been looking at them, but the complete kit is like 60 bucks. So I may just hydro dip this using standard spray paint. We will see. Anyway, I just want to do a follow-up on this. I have the stack fitted, as you can see. So it's slowly turning back into a locomotive. Now this thing was in really, really terrible condition if you saw the original videos. And I de-rusted it, and then sprayed it with some basic primer, and then sprayed it with this textured primer. So if I use standard spray paint to paint it, it'll still have a textured effect. But the nice thing about textured paint is it hides all the imperfections in the steel, not just from the rust, but from the actual stamping process itself. Like I said in the earlier video, Marx dipped these in paint, and it hides tons and tons of imperfections in the steel. And when you strip that paint off, it's really obvious why Marx dipped them rather than painting them any other way. It really, really hides any imperfections in the steel. Anyway, as you can see, this doesn't look too bad. It runs really well, so this is the motor I'll be using in it. So now it's just a matter of getting this finished. Like I said, I don't know whether I'm going to actually spray paint it. I would like to hydro dip it, as I haven't tried that. And it makes some really, really interesting effects. It makes a really, really nice finish. So in any case, whichever I decide to do, I'll do a follow-up video. If I hydro dip it, I'll do a complete video on that to show the process. Anyway, basically hydro dipping is using a bucket of water, basically, and you spray paint directly onto the water with 3 different colors, 4 different colors, whatever you want to use. And use a neutral color between them. So you spray red, then black, then yellow, then black, then red, then black. And the paint floats on top of the water, and then you just dip the whatever you want to paint, in this case the locomotive, through the paint into the water. Once it's completely submerged, you brush all the paint to one side, which leaves clear water. You pull the locomotive out, and whatever pattern was formed on the top of the water has been transferred to the locomotive. So you can get some really interesting effect. Anyway, if I do it, I'll do a video on that. But I just want to do a follow-up on this textured primer. As you see, the holes for the markers are completely invisible now. And so it's ready to paint. Now it's just a matter of what color and how to do it. So this is slowly coming together. This thing was an absolute junker. I mean, no doubt. The thing was a wreck when I got it. And it's still only primered, but I have the stack fitted, as you can see. That doesn't look bad. And I'm going to be making new handrails for it. The ones that were on there were just shot, just absolutely shot. And if I use brass, I will very likely use brass cotter pins if I can find them to hold the handrails themselves. But this actually isn't looking too bad, as you can see. Anyway, I put a motor in it. This is the motor that I'll be using. It's forward only, but it's good enough for this. And this thing runs really well. So now it's just a matter of figuring out if I'm going to spray it or if I'm going to dip it. And I would really like to do the hydro dipping, because I have not tried it before. And it, like I said, it makes some really, really interesting effects. But it has its new stack. It has no holes in it. So it is technically ready to paint. So the next few days I'll decide how I'm going to do this. Like I said, I would really like to hydro dip this to see what kind of results I get. In any case, just a quick follow-up on this Marx 898. Now, this thing was an absolute junker. And as you can see, it's actually turned into a fairly nice little locomotive, considering what it was. And really haven't done anything to it yet other than strip it, used epoxy putty to fill in the holes, and now sprayed it with textured primer. and I did fit the stack. So it's going to look all right, I think, when it's finished. So in any case, just another follow-up on the 898. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.